All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our app to do something. So we first of all need to put the components on the screen that are going to allow us to do our character quiz. And the first thing we need, I guess, is we need somewhere to show our image. So I'm going to use an image and I'm going to drop it above our home button. We should probably give that image a name. So I'm going to call it IMG character. Its job will be eventually to show us the character we're trying to guess. In terms of width and height, I'm going to put 150 because that's the size of the image that I actually made. 150 pixels. I think it was 100 actually. I might change it back to 100. Pretty sure it was 100, not 150. And OK. The next thing I want to do is I want to provide a place where they can type their answer. So I'm going to use a text box for that and drag that in between the image and the home button. I should call that something. TXT answer. And they're going to actually type their answer into that. I'll put a hint down here to allow the user to know what they've got to do with that box. Type your answer here is a good hint. And width and height, I can leave that as is, or I can make it stretch a little bigger. I'm sort of happy with that at the moment. I need a button to allow the user of the app to determine whether they're right or not. That's going to check their answer. So I'm going to rename that button BTN check, and I'll change its text to say check. So on our interface, we have a place to show the character they're trying to guess, a place where they're going to type their answer, a button that will initiate the checking process to see if they're correct, and the home button we made in the previous video. Let's now get this stuff to do things. In order to do that, we have to go to the blocks. Now we also have to add our graphics, and we had a folder of graphics that we went and got from the Moodle. Right, there's a whole folder of things. You can go and pick ones you like, right-click, save as. So I've already got my 6, and I have to put those 6 graphics into my app as well. We do that fairly easily. Down on the left-hand side, there's a little media upload file. I've already put 4 up, da, he, ko, and nu. I don't know what they are at all, but I've just got to make sure I've got to get them all. So I'll upload file, choose file. I haven't done row. Okay. And the last one is whoa. Say OK. So now I've got my 6 images, da, he, ko, nu, row, and woe. I need to build things inside here that correspond to them. Now I'm going to use lists. I'll build one list and then clone it. I need to make a list and I need a variable to keep that in. Initialize global variable. Plug that together and we'll call this questions. And because I've got 6 characters, there's going to be 6 questions, so I need to make my list big enough to have 6 questions. And I think that's one more, that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Next I need to put the questions. They're going to be pieces of text which correspond to the names of these files. da.png, he.png, and so on. So I need 6 pieces of text, which I plug in. And the first one is da.png. The next one is he.png. Again, I don't really know any Japanese, so I'm just using the characters that the Japanese department gave me. .png, nu.png, row.png, and woe.png. All right, so I've got my list of questions and I need a corresponding one that will be my answers. The best way to do that is just to duplicate this whole structure. Point to the orange end, the left-hand end, right-click, duplicate, and it will think you want to call it questions 2. I really want to call that answers, so I'll rename it answers. And for the answers, I don't want the .png because the answer is what the user will type in when they think they know what the character is. So they'll just want the raw name of the character. So I'm just trimming off the .png so that when they type in something like RO, if it is the ro.png being displayed, then they got it right. Alrighty. So I now have my questions and my answers. The next trick, I guess, is we've got to program the... Oh, have we got a new quiz button? We haven't. Bum. Let's switch back to Designer. And just above the edit box, I need a new button. Let's call it BTN New. And on the text of that button, new question. Because its job will be to actually go and make a new question for me. That's the button I want, BTN New. When it is clicked, we've got to do something. Now, if we're going to do something with a new question, we have to go and get the question and display it in our image. And we have to get the answer so we know whether they're right or not. So, in order to do that, we need to know that lists have an index. This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we can make a random number between 1 and 6. That uses a bit of maths. Jump into maths, grab random integer from, it says 1 to 100, but that's a bit big. Let's change that 100 to be 6. And we need a variable. And we'll have initialize global variable qnum, which question number we're going to look up. And I think I might set it to 0 at the initialize stage. And then when I mouse over qnum, it says set global qnum to. And I'm going to plug that onto our random number between 1 and 6. And that's the first thing that happens in our click. So what this effectively does is pick which question we're going to do. That allows us to reach into this list and get the appropriate picture. And we're going to be putting our picture into the image character. When you click on image character, you'll find there's a set image character.picture to. So I'm going to go and grab that. And I'm going to go and fish out from this list. So we need to go and get a list operator, and we need to go, whoopsies, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. We need to go to the lists, and we need to select item from list. Throw that on the end. Now the index of our item is question num. So we go and get question num. That's our index. And the name of our list that we're fishing out the question for, which is our picture, is the questions list. Get global questions. That will now make up a number somewhere between 1 and 6, reach into our list of image names, and pick out that question, picture, and throw it into the picture on the screen. The other thing I guess we've got to do is we've got to remember which question we're actually doing, although we've got that, haven't we? We've got global qnum. We've set it to be some random number. So now this variable tells us which question we're using, and later we'll be able to go into the answers to that exact same question number and see whether or not what they typed was right. That's the next part of this video.